This is Tom Fox. I live in the Texas Hill Country. On Friday, July 4th, Kirk County saw the worst flooding it has ever seen. At this point, as I'm recording this podcast, nearly 70 people have been found dead, and there are many, many more people still missing. I'm going to ask you to please consider a donation to the Hill Country Flood Relief Fund. I've listed it in the show notes. I know it's a little bit unusual to make this request, but I can't tell you the tragedy that has unfolded in my home county over the 4th of July weekend. Thank you for your consideration. And now, on to the Daily Compliance News. The Daily Compliance News for July 30, 2025, the Corruption Kills Business edition. And we begin with that story from the Financial Times, which reports that Bain Co. has shut down its South African consulting business after a major corruption scandal that it perpetrated in South Africa. The company said it has struggled to shake off the stigma of its role in the corruption scandal that brought down the former President Jacob Zuma. In 2020, the Zodo Commission found widespread corruption in South Africa, surprise, surprise, but that Bain had colluded in one of the few instances where President Zuma was directly and personally involved in the corruption. So if you think corruption doesn't kill business, Bain leaves South Africa. Next up, from the Wall Street Journal, a revolt ended up in firings at the Department of Justice Antitrust Division, normally one of the most staid and important DOJ divisions, as Michael Volkov would just say, the division. And two top officials were fired by the Trump administration because they didn't toe the line. And the Trump administration expects to say or not say when a merger will be allowed, with the DOJ having not really much input into it. So politics will take over that division as well. Next up from Reuters, Meta faces an Italian investigation over its WhatsApp AI chatbot. And I found this story very, very interesting, as the Italian Antitrust Authority launched an investigation over allegations the company abused its dominant position. Once again, I know you're shocked, by installing an artificial intelligence tool on its WhatsApp. The watchdog said Meta may have violated EU competition laws by integrating Meta AI Assistant into WhatsApp without user consent, a move that could harm competitors. The company said it was cooperating, unlike X, which says it's not going to cooperate in investigations in France. But Meta said by offering free access to AI features in WhatsApp, it gives millions of Italians a choice to use AI in a place they know, trust, and understand. Well, the Italian Commission, known as the AGCM, perhaps see things in a little bit differently light. And finally, as my daughter would say, what's the vibe? Well, at Starbucks, the vibe was not good for stores that took were pickup only and mobile apps, and they did not have warmth. Well, if you've ever been in one, they're not there for warmth. They're there to give you coffee. So, but with a negative vibe, Starbucks felt like this is not really what we want to be a part of. So, as my daughter would say, what's the vibe? The vibe was not good, and Starbucks is going to shut those stores down. So what's your vibe? Over the July 4th weekend, we had perhaps the worst tragedy to ever hit my home county in its history over this weekend. And myself and my family are fine, but multiple others who lost loved ones, lost family members, are obviously not fine. So if you can find your way to help with any donation, I would greatly appreciate it. This is Tom Fox. Thank you very much. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.